I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll have our traditional land acknowledgement statement from Councillor Henry, if you'd like to do that for us.
Augusta Township acknowledges that we live and work on ancestral territories of Indigenous people. The township recognizes all Indigenous peoples and honors their past, present, and future. The township values and respects their culture, heritages, and relationship to the land.
Thank you, Councillor Henry. The mayor's opening remarks, and our mayor, he's on Zoom with us. Jeff, there's some remarks you would like to say?
Okay, thank you, Chair. First of all, thank you very much to council and all the employees for the wonderful gift basket. I'll let you know, I think there's about 3 items left after the grandkids are here, so. But I beat them to the chocolate. Unfortunately, Janet and I love those, so thank you very much. It was nice seeing the North Augusta Labor Day Parade in the Recorder and Times. It was either awful slow for the Recorder and Times or what, unless we pushed it, but it was nice. We had almost 2 full pages of pictures and everything else. So thank you for the people all involved in that. And it's good coverage, really good coverage. The next thing I have is quickly is just some bad news. We lost our current, well, we lost our CAO of the counties this morning, Ray Callery. He passed on. So that's why you see the flags are half mast. So anyway, it was just a matter of we knew for a while it wasn't good. Anyway, we all wish his family best, and our prayers and thoughts are with them. And that's all I have, Chair.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Mayor. Yes, I'd just like to congratulate Councillor Henry and Councillor Pate for their help on the Labor Day Parade. It was a great success. The weather held off. We were lucky. Rained hard on Sunday, but Monday was a little cool, but the weather was nice. And Councillor Michelle too, you were there, and even though you were in pain, you were there. That was pretty good. We didn't win a prize this year, but that's all right. We'll do better next year. Yeah. The other thing I'd like to mention, I know it's later in the agenda, but I think I'd like to personally have a shout out to John Stagg for his achievement in getting his certification for the road down here. He's Associate Road Supervisor Certification, and congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on then, moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Bowman, that be resolved that the agenda for September 9th be adopted. Any additions or errors? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Then moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the August 12th, 2024 council meeting that distributed to all members. Any errors or omissions? None, all in favor? Carried. Then moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Bowman. Be resolved that council sponsor RNJ Curling Bondsfield from the 2024 budget. Is there any discussion on that?
So, Your Worship, we're just at the announcements, the delegations and presentations before the postponements.
Okay, okay, so we got approval of that, so we need any disclosure. For thereof. I see none. Business arising from the minutes. And none. And then delegations and presentations. And we have certificate to present. Supervisor certificate. And John, maybe you'd like to explain a little bit what what this group does and what it means for the township.
So this is through the Ontario, Certified Ontario Roads Supervisors, AORs, so the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors. It's just a group of road workers that gets a certification through training. So you go through Ontario Good Roads. There's some training in there, and then there's also some public works leadership development programs that you want to do after that to get your certifications. And now I'm just waiting on getting some more, management skills. So there's the associate, then there's the road supervisor itself, and you got the intermediate stage, and then you got the senior stage. So through continuing education, you climb the ladder to get to that senior one eventually.
Yeah. And it's one of their mandates. It's committed to the training and development for reliable, efficient decisions for county maintenance on public roads, maintenance and safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then summer day camp presentation, Bill Anderson.
Hi. Give it a minute. There you go.
They're ready? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Willow Anderson. I'm going to present to you today the project overview of the summer day camp this summer. So again, I'm Willow Anderson. I'm the camp coordinator. My background is registered early childhood education. I am also a small business owner and operator, and I have done social media content creation and managing social media as well. Some of my key responsibilities this summer were managing the camp operations, developing the program that we saw every day throughout the week in the summer, and the health and safety oversight and management, and daily communication with families and guardians. Alongside me were 5 other summer day camp workers. We had Dylan and Emily, Cassie, Ethan, and Maddie, 3 of which were also Augusta Township residents alongside myself. The beginning of the program, we got together as a team to figure out what we wanted our goals to be for the summer day camp. With it being its very first year, we wanted to make sure that everything went smoothly for the kids as well as the parents. So we wanted it to be traditional, not something that was offered anywhere else, which meant, themes that were weekly, but nothing specific such as specialized camps. It was very back in the 90s type where we went and we played with water balloons and sprinklers and the kids had a lot of fun. So we did that. We also made it educational. So throughout the summer, we had 4 guest speakers come and they taught the kids different things that corresponded with the themes that we had. We also made sure that it was affordable. So a lot of families right now, as we know, are struggling living paycheck to paycheck. Having the price point as it was very helpful for families that were looking for care this summer. And it was much different than what's being offered right now. So we had a lot of positive feedback about that. We wanted it to be memorable and we wanted it to be fun. So the summer camp counselors, they each had their own groups and rotated every week. They got to know the kids that returned weekly and were probably most invested in the activities than any of the other kids as well. So that was one of the things that we wanted to be different from anyone else, is that they were also participating in the games. A lot of the families and the feedback that we got loved that they were participating in the games. They weren't just overseeing the program and the activities that they were doing. So we started by creating the themes. I don't know if any of you are familiar, but we had new themes every week. We had 9 weeks for this entire summer. Some of the most popular ones were cooking, where they had hands-on activities on fruits, vegetables, and cookie decorating. We also had Lego engineering, which was one of the most popular themes itself. Because of the age range that we had, kids love Lego. It was a great experience for everybody. We also had the Spy Academy that was also one of the most popular ones, with it having a lot of discovery and puzzle solving, and it really kept them engaged that last week of summer. We also did a lot of social media outreach throughout the summer, sharing posts that we had openings available if anyone was still looking, and sharing the different videos and photos that we took throughout the week. That was also within our weekly emails to parents, where we had closed albums through the Google Photos, and any kid that participated in that week, their family would get a link for that photo album, which was completely secure, and only those parents or guardians with the link could see them. So they really loved seeing the kids participating in the activities at the end of the week, seeing what they were doing. Because a lot of the times the kids would get home and say, I don't know what we did. But they were able to see that they were doing something, they were having fun. The weekly emails also included feedback forms, in which a lot of the program and presentation that you see now is based off of what we received back. And we had our guest speakers join. So throughout the summer, again, there were 4 guest speakers that volunteered their time to come and present to the kids. We had Helen Cooper from Dive Adventures Brockville. She came and talked to the kids about scuba diving, under the sea type, what are they even called? But like the shipwrecks that are down in the St. Lawrence, and she shared photos of different ways you can go scuba diving and how deep you can go in the St. Lawrence, and what the little flags on the river mean. And they thought that they were just rock markers, but they were super interested to learn that there's things all the way down there, which I also didn't know. So it was a great opportunity for camp staff to learn, as well as the kids. Another popular one was, we had Ron join us from B2 Honey. He's a Augusta resident as well, and he taught the kids the life cycle of bees and the difference between, bees and wasps, and why you shouldn't always be afraid of bees, and, how to calm yourself down, and the makings of honey, and how they're the first 3D printer there was. And the kids really loved that presentation, and getting to know the difference with nature was a great education option. The last 2 weeks of camp were very busy, but we had Andrew Melcher from IN Engineering come for the Lego Engineering Week, which was probably a highlight. He had a blueprint, like a 2D blueprint, where the kids drew what they wanted to create. If it was houses or cars or animals, they had to design each individual block. And after they made that 2D design, tried to make it 3D. There was a lot of difference between it, which was the whole point of the project, to see that you can be adaptable with the materials that you have, and how to make the changes necessary as you move forward. The last week of camp was the Spy Week, and the last day of camp, we had the Fire Prevention Committee join us, where they did a presentation on fire safety, which was great going into September. They asked all sorts of questions about the bunker gear and fire alarms, and they all individually pressed the fire alarm button so we could hear it go off 3rd time. They loved it though. It was very good for the kids. And to finish up and wrap up that presentation, they set the fire alarm off at Merck, and we all individually, went out and joined the fire trucks and Sparky, and it was a great last hurrah for summer day camp. Our program was at Merck, which was graciously donated by the Merck committee this summer. We only had to pay for the cleaning, and it was, like I said, a great location, not just for us camp staff, where we were able to take the kids outside and play. We had access to the park, we had access to the soccer fields and the nature path behind. But it was also a great location for parents who were easily able to just drop off during their morning commutes to work. It's right off of the 401, it's right off of Highway 2, so families from Prescott were able to just drop off if they're working in Brockville, and vice versa. A lot of the feedback from the parents were that it was a really great location, with there being the accessibility option for the bathrooms. And there's also a ramp when you first walk in. We did have a child that registered all summer, a few weeks before summer started, and the last day of camp, or the last day of school, sorry, she broke her foot. So she was in a wheelchair the first 3 weeks. The mom called me asking if it was possible for her to continue camp with her having the broken foot, and I said absolutely. Thankfully, Mark was ready for that, so she didn't have to change her activities or program too much, but we were adaptable with that. So right here, we're gonna go on our camper demographics. There's two separate bars. So the light green is the total registrations that or the light blue is the total registrations that we got for those 9 weeks. And the dark blue is always at 30, which is the total registrations we could have for that week. 3 of those weeks were completely sold out. So the last 2 weeks and 1 week in the middle. On average, we had 21 campers for each week. It fluctuated throughout the summer, but the average was pretty high. Our total registration for the first year was 75%. And 75% of the feedback that we received from the registration and the feedback form that I had mentioned was from social media. So they saw that we had openings on Facebook and social media and shared it with friends and family, and sent it back that way through the registration process. So that's a pretty high number, which is great. That's what we were hoping when we started sharing them in Facebook groups, Mommy and Me, Prescott is Positive, Augusta Township groups and stuff like that. These camper demographics in total show that the majority of the residents from the registrations are from the Township of Augusta, and over 50% of the registrations are from the Township of Augusta and the town of Prescott. So we did have a few registrations from Brockville. We also had some registrations from Athens and Mallory Town, but the majority, over 50%, which is phenomenal, was from the collaboration of Augusta and Prescott. So what made us different, again, is that we were a traditional summer day camp program. We didn't offer any specialties. We were down to the basic, and I think a lot of families were open to the idea of their kids exploring what it used to be like, and were able to be open and have fun activities every day that were different. We were also open to children under the age of 6, which is not found in the area. So a lot of programs don't open their registration to kindergartners. And we found that a lot of our registration were between the ages of 4 and 5, which gave us, leg up with registrations this year. And I didn't find any difference between a 4 and 5-year-old to a 7 and 8-year-old. So I think keeping it that way and filling the gap that parents don't have for their kindergartners in the summer is a great thing for us. We also were open the entire 9 weeks of summer camp, where other summer camps are only open 8. So I had mentioned that one of the weeks we sold out was the last week of camp, which meant we were right up until when school started last week. So that last week sold out way sooner than any of the other ones, probably before summer even began, knowing that parents needed that last week of care. They weren't able to either get vacation or, people work. So we were able to build that void and sold out that week early. On top of that, a lot of the campers that came that last week were one-time campers, so we didn't have them throughout the summer. And a lot of the feedback we got from our QR codes from families that were quickly scanning at the door were that they wished they had signed their kids up sooner, because they loved that camp more than any of the other ones they went to this year. And I think it's because we kept it basic and because we kept it fun. And the camp counselors, again, were joining in on those activities. The feedback that we got from the QR codes and from the emails sent throughout the entire duration of summer is that parents need PA days. They need care for PA days that come once in a blue moon, but they also need the break care. So winter break, that lasts the 2 weeks, but they also are mostly and always looking for care during the breaks. So PA days, March breaks, and winter breaks were high on everybody's feedback that we got. In addition, the great environment, the great staff, they liked how affordable it was, and the communication that was continuously ongoing throughout the summer. And that they would like to have additional payment options, whether it was payment plans or an option for credit payments, so that they can secure their space before summer begins. And then that way they know that their care is covered before, the first day of summer. Recommendations for camp moving forward would be to look at different payment methods so that we can help the families that need it the most, as well as earlier registrations. So this summer, we opened registrations at the end of April, which was 3 months ahead of what other camps would do. So a lot of camps in the area opened in February, which means that we were late to the registrations, but we still had a great turnout. Partnerships with other organizations in the community to see if they would like to support any families that would need care. So throughout the off season, going to different organizations, seeing if they have any families that they know are going to need care for the March breaks or the winter breaks, and collaborating with them to make sure that their kids are not slipping through the education and they're getting the support they need during those breaks where their parents still need to work. Additionally, I would increase the cost. So this week or this summer, we charged $150 for every 5 days. And it was less if it was a short week, so the 4-day week, sorry. And I would increase that cost $25 a week, so totaling $175. It's not too big of an increase that I think parents would say, that's way more than I was expecting, considering we're already still below the $80 difference that other summer camps are charging. And communicating with parents and families that have already registered for summer camp, and just keeping that communication open to let them know if we're having more PA days or summer breaks, that they can join us again and know that our program is going to be as standard as it was throughout the summer, and that's what they can expect. Any questions?
Questions? Oh.
Mhm.
Jeff's got a question. Go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry. Yep. Thanks, Chair. To Willow through the chair. Couple questions. Yeah. Well, the total number of children?
Yeah, so the total number of children that joined us was, I think, 93.
93?
Yeah, individual children.
Okay. And you said I'm not one for social media, although I should be anyway, but you mentioned you got a lot of feedback on that. Do you have it like testimonials? Did you put them out?
Yeah, so we have testimonials, and I didn't share that on the presentation, but we do have them on the feedback forms that we received.
Okay, well, it sounds like you've done a great job, and it's a great presentation. So, and thank you for the recommendations. Even though as council members, we sit here and we know what's going on, we don't really know what's going on, if you know what I mean. So it's refreshing hearing what happened this summer, okay? Because we do get comments from residents, but we like to be in the know too. So thank you very much to you all and your counselors.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. I do have a comment. I did follow it on social media. I think maybe you need an adult part there, because I was interested in going.
No, it was really fun, yeah.
They looked really interesting. Very good, very well done.
Thanks.
Yes,
Just one thing I'd like to add is, certainly, it shows you what can be done in a matter of, launching something in May and getting the numbers you have. But I think, to me, it's a testament to the hard work that Kathleen, Willow, Madison and the students did to get those themes together and get the outreach. And I think if council is interested in doing something again next year, the sooner we can get it out, I think you'll see those numbers continue to increase. So, I remember when I was young, having those type of traditional camps, and those were something that you looked forward to every summer. And they seem to have gone away where, now it's all coming back, where you engage with the kids and even the students participating in it, I think goes a long way. So I think, great job to the group here for that. And I think it's just the start of more to come. So.
Okay, well, I guess Kathleen and Madison will be looking for something from you guys for next year. Okay.
You'll be seeing a proposal very soon.
Very good, very good. All right, then moving on. So be it resolved, so we're now moving on to delegation and presentation. Or correspondence, I mean, yeah, we did delegate correspondence. So we do have correspondence from RNG Sterling Bronzefield. And moved by Councilor Henry, second by Councilor Bowman, be it resolved that council sponsor RNG Sterling Bronzefield and the non-specified amount from the 2024 budget. And, does councilors have any info on that? Looked at the report, or maybe I'll ask our CAO to expand on this.
Certainly, Chair. So, as council will recall, back in budget, we did allocate, funding in our donations beyond the, long-term care commitments that we've done. We did allocate $6,000 for miscellaneous, donations. To date, I believe we spent about $250 or $300 on the figure skating, that we did back in March or April of this year, but there's been no funds allocated since then. But certainly, I think as groups are coming forward and everything, I think we need to come up with either a policy or a timeline where, organizations that are planning for next year, there needs to be a deadline to get requests in for the following year's budget, just so that we can plan accordingly and everything. But certainly if council wants to approve this tonight with a dollar amount and direct staff, or we can certainly look at putting it into the budget next year. I believe the event is January 17th. So it might be too late by the time we're past budget, but I'll certainly leave that up to council's discretion.
Okay, I know, our public works manager, John, said he was interested in putting in a team. So I think maybe we should reach out to them, defer it till the next meeting, reach out to them, see if they would be okay for us putting in a team, and then see what that entails, sponsoring a sheet of ice, or what it would entail.
Yeah, we can certainly reach out to them and then report back to council the next meeting.
Okay, so somebody want to make a motion that we defer then, just to move by Councilor Bowman, second by Councilor Payne. All in favor of deferring? Carried, or it's deferred, carried.
Signing them?
Oh, no, outside of that.
Okay.
And moving on to reports. For council, United Counties, Mayor Shaver, did you have anything that you wanted to report?
No, Chair, you attended both the joint services and the committee of the whole, so thank you very much for doing that on my behalf, but no, it's your lead, whatever you have to report.
Okay, at United Counties, at 2 meetings, they did finalize the last few things for rehabilitation for Highway 43. And they also talked about Highway 13 that they are gonna move forward on. And one of the bridges in Eversburg Cardinal that they're only gonna close for a short period of time, completely close it to get some work done and then open it back to 1 lane to minimize the restriction for residents. That was about all of that county council. So then, moving on to South Nation and Rio Valley. I did an executive meeting today and we approved the budget, approved the agenda coming up for the following meeting next Thursdays. And then the following Thursday, I have a meeting with, Rio Valley. Everything that was done on the wetland mapping, that is all still on hold and it will be on the discretion of the province. They have to go through the paperwork to change that, so. Recreation, Have anything to report on recreation? Yes,
Your worship, not really an update. I just wanted to, I guess, express my disappointment. We had some damage to brand new equipment that was installed in Donville, and I believe you had said North Augusta as well. The Donville one was just installed in May, and the swing has now been removed, damaged, and at this point, we don't know when we're gonna get a replacement. It's unfortunate, I know it happens everywhere, but, I did want to express my disappointment that something, you can't have nice things, I guess. And, I know people in the community have pointed it out, and it's unfortunate it's happened at all, but this close into a new playground, it's really disappointing.
yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe we can look at putting some signage up on the work that's gone into getting this and, hopefully people will respect it there, or I don't know, or would it be cost effective to put in cameras? I'll kind of leave that up to you to look at, John. Even the signage sometimes that you're on sometimes helps.
Yeah. Kathleen can look into that.
I'll look into that.
Okay, thank you. Library board, Councillor Bowman?
No, I'll have an update the next meeting. They don't have one till the 17th.
Okay.
They took the summer off, so.
Okay, thank you. Economic development, Councillor Henry?
Yes, Business of the Year, November 1st, Mercall. Registration is now opened on the township website. Only 2 nominations as of right now for Business of the Year, so we're looking for more nominations. And that's all I have for an update.
Okay, and for business of the year, I handed out the flyers to all the mayors at the county council meeting, and a couple of them already asked me when they could buy tickets. So sounds like a pretty positive feedback from county council.
Your worship, we did get 3 mayors sign up. So
Got 3 mayors sign up?
Lightest touch.
Oh, that's good, that's good. Okay, for a PAC meeting, we had, PAC meeting, we had a couple of, sentences that we approved at PAC, so everything was okay on that, and we're looking at going forward on a PAC council meeting, so there'll be some more coming out on that. So the Police Services Board, Mayor Shaver, anything to report on that?
No, nothing, no updates on that. We're still in the waiting game, so they get things organized, I guess, at their end, so. That's about
Okay,
it.
thank you. Administration,
The only thing I'll add, Chair, is in regards to the police service board. So the mandatory 8-hour training that all police service board members have to take is now being offered through the Ontario Police College. So I have now set up all the credentials for the South Granville Police Service Board. So those hopefully credentials should be going out in the next couple of days. So which means that they'll have till September 30th to complete the mandatory 8-hour training, including myself. So and then we'll look at having our first meeting, hopefully late September, early October, to get things moving forward. So the only other thing I have under administration is just a reminder, breakfast tomorrow morning at 7:30 at the Prescott Golf Club. So look forward to seeing everybody there.
thank you. And moving on then to administration finance. Report 2024-045. Moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Council adopt the attached complaint management policy. Anybody have any questions on that or comments?
Mayor does.
CEO,
No, the mayor.
Mayor.
Mayor?
Thanks, Chair. Just a quick one here, a couple of questions. When it comes to the complaint policy, when it's a resident complaining about a staff member, that doesn't go through this policy. I take it that goes to the CAO directly?
Yes, that's the way I would think it should be.
Correct.
Yeah, CAO says that's correct.
Okay,
Um,
and the records for the complaints, is that on our, I don't know the term you use, is it E9 system or something that you have?
Must do.
Sorry?
E11, yes. Yes,
E11,
correct.
okay, yeah. All right, thank you.
And one question I had on that, and that was on anonymous complaints that if it's something to do with health or safety, but I would think there has to be some substance to it. Somebody can't just say, oh, I think there's something unsafe on County Road 18. You know, you gotta say a little bit more. You gotta have some substance to it, what it is, what your complaint is about.
Yeah, and certainly that would be triage at the time of the call, is that, you know, getting more specifics of what the health and safety issue is and all that kind of stuff, and then determining from there if it's actually a legitimate complaint or whether or not we close the file, so.
And I do like the one part in the report where it says you have to have your name and on it, because if it has to go to court, and you have to be there to, and be willing to go to court for it. Okay, so. All in favor of this? Gary? I'm learning as I go. Okay, so report 2024-099, finance variance. Moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Bowman. Any questions on this? You want to expand on this at all, CEO?
The mayor.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the CAO is waiting for me to put up my hand on that one. Actually, this time, the variance report I thought was excellent. I don't like some of the figures, but I understand why, and that's the big difference. So my compliments to Ms. Shorey, and you can pass that on to her. But great report. I understood it fully. So thank you.
Thank you.
CAO, did you want anything to expand on that?
Nope, I think, no, I was getting ready for the mayor to answer a few of the questions, but.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, but certainly, I'll just echo what was said last time, is there's still some adjusting entries that will need to be done at the end of the year based on some transfers to revenues, and then there's still some money that's we are still collecting, that will collect by the end of December 31st as well too. So those numbers will change. They change every day.
Okay, the next one is moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Council received this report for its information, and then the community 2024 101 Community Sports Fund Grant. Oh, the tax registration. Report 100. Registration findings update.
I just think sorry, Chair, the last report, which was the variance, I don't think was voted on, I think.
Oh. Okay, we want to vote on the variance report, receive it. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Missed that one, Jeff. Okay, then moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Henry. Report 2024 100 be received for information. Anybody have any questions on this? Okay. Yes, Jeff?
Thank you, Chair. You know it's financial. You know I'm going to have questions on it. It's again, I just want to pass on to to our treasurer and the whole department and Ann that this is great. I don't like the 380,000, but I mean this is great for a lot of you that may not remember. It was $2 million 3 years ago. $2 million. And now we've got it down to 380,000. So excellent. Kudos to the department. Keep up the good work. So
yeah,
that's all. Thanks.
My sentiments exactly. And if we had to have that, the 320,000 that we just got, if we had to add it before tax time, we wouldn't have had to have a 7% tax increase. Great job. All in favor? Carry. Moved by Counselor Henry, second by Counselor Bowman. Or 2024-101. That council authorized the staff to engage Grant Match to assist with the writing and submission of an application on behalf of the Township of Augusta. Approve submission of an application on the Ontario Community Sport and Recreation Fund for the repair and rehabilitation stream for the Maynard Recreation Center. And that council authorized staff to engage in Grant Match to assist with the writing and submission of the application on behalf of the Township of Augusta. Any questions on this? Councilor Henry?
To the chair, just a thank you to Kathleen for the hard work that was put into this, because there was a lot of steps to have that ready, to be able to move forward, to be ready.
Thank you, Kathleen, on that. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, Jeff?
Thank you, Chair. Just reading my notes here. So I take it, this grant we're going through, it's, the length of the grant is 2 years, correct? And, so we're submitting the application, so we'll have to wait for approval, which they say is going to happen in 2025, which really we should be budgeting in 2025 and possibly 2026. So I just wanted to make sure that the other thing was, do we know what direction we're going at? Because we're waiting for IN Engineering to come back to us saying, are we doing a rebuild or refurbished or whatever? So that decision hasn't been made yet either, I assume.
CAO.
Through you, Chair, to Mayor Shaver. So as of right now, we're under stream 1, which is the repair and rehabilitation stream. So based on our conversation with the Maynard Recreation Committee, we're going to look at basically peeling the whole entire building back to the studs and then rebuilding it from there. So, you know, certainly the infrastructure fund can be used for any of the recreation committees. The reason we're focusing just on Maynard is because the municipality has to pay 50% of whatever is approved. And being the fact that Maynard's the only committee right now that doesn't have a building, and the fact that they've just, you know, recently introduced new pickleball courts and the rink at a successful tournament in July, that to me, we need to prioritize what's a priority right now for the community. So that's why we're focusing all our efforts on Maynard at this time. And certainly more funding will be available down the road that we can then certainly shift. But we expect to have all the information, everything in by the deadline of October 1st, I think it is. 29th.
We submit.
And we will submit, and Grant Match will help us do that. So you're absolutely right, Mayor, though, is that what we will do next year is fund in the budget our share, that if we did get the money, we'd have that money set aside.
Okay. And again, thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
And something that you might be able to look at, and that is accessible washrooms for the soccer field, and see if we can get a grant for that under the accessibility program.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. So all in favor? Carry. Moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Henry. That report 2024-102. Be resolved that council accept for information the tax report from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO Compass report done by Councillor Pape, and very good job, Councillor Pape, on that. Good report. Anybody have any comments on that? Oh, Mayor?
Thank you, Chair, through the chair. Councillor Pape, very good job. Thank you very much. And Deputy Mayor, I'll be looking forward to your report from the Eastern Ontario Conference. Thank you.
Okay, will do. All in favor? Report carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Bowman. Report 2024-105. To resolve the hiring of employees policy be enacted by council. Anybody have any questions on this? Mayor? No?
No questions on this.
Yeah. And
The
okay,
the clerk wrote the report, so I'll let her share on that.
Anything to add? And it had been quite some time since we updated it. It is a mandate policy. Just figured it was due to update and modernize the policy. So,
okay. Sounds good. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Henry. Report 2024-107. Be it resolved that council approve the preliminary designs as presented in engineering for renovations to the township office, and that council authorize staff to proceed with in engineering in preparing the specifications and design package for tendering the work in accordance with our procurement policy. Any questions on this? Mayor?
Sorry, but I have a question, Chair. I just wanted to make a comment, and I forgot to make it during the our recreation and the talking about the grant and everything else, but it refers to this one as well. Thank you very much for all the pictures. When you're reading these reports, these pictures help a lot. So to the managers, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. Anybody else have any? So I looked this over and I think we'll make some excellent use of the space that we have here. And it'll free up some more room. That would be great. All in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bowman. Report 2024-097. Be resolved that council approve their recreation lease responsibilities process attached. Anybody have any questions on this? Mayor? Yes,
Sorry, Chair. I was hoping some of the other councilors would jump in ahead of me, but anyway, is this a standard lease that we're going to use for all the buildings or facilities? So that's the kind of way I read it. It's not pertain to one facility. Is that correct? I'll hand that over
Yes.
to Kathleen. Yeah.
We wanted it to be consistent for all our recreation committees, not though for committees of council, which would be North Augusta and Donville. So we're particularly looking for this lease for Maynard, for Maitland, and for Roebuck, and they will be consistent.
Okay, thank you.
question I have on this was, were those rec committees in agreement with this? Did they give input?
Shannon and I met on this, and we felt that it would not be in the best interest of the township to have separate leases for each recreation committee. We wanted it to be equal and fair for each recreation committee, so that's why we standardized it.
Okay, but did they, yes,
They did see.
They have seen it, it was reviewed by our solicitor,
Mhm.
and there's nothing in there that is preventing them from doing what we're doing already.
Yeah.
So certainly what we want to do is to get council's blessing first before we bring it to the committees.
okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? We'll call for the vote. Favors carried. Moved by Councillor Pate, seconded by Councillor Henry. 2024-104. Be resolved that Augusta Township enters into a depot collection statement of work with circular materials for the township to provide blue block services at our transfer stations, including promotion, education, and service to non-eligible sources for the period of June 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025, based on the terms described in this report. And that the clerk be authorized to execute the debt collections with circular materials. Anybody have any questions on this? Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is so confusing to me. This has been going on for 6, 7 years. And nobody knows what to do with this blue box thing. So the way I kind of read it, and I'll ask our John, is this a cost saving measure for us?
So we're hoping it's gonna be a cost saving measure. I can't say it's gonna be yes or no. We're gonna pay a little bit more recycling, but so for our stewardship, we get $84,000 a year through the stewardship right now. And based on our numbers right now, we are going to get $14,388 per month, which times that by 12 is $172,000 a year. So we're getting about $90,000 more, but our recycling might cost us more. So that's why we're in the 6-month kind of the 6-month trial before we go head first into it. So hopefully there is savings. We do have a $90,000 window, but yes, recycling is going to cost a little bit more, but we're also going to get shy of $14,000, or sorry, just over $14,000 a month, depending on our contamination. So yes, education, promotion, all that good stuff. We're going to have to educate the residents and the workers, and of course, Fast Ed's people too, Fast Eddie's guys too. So it's going to be a work in progress, Mary, absolutely. And it's going to be very educational, yes, to staff and to our residents.
Okay, thank you. And I don't mean that confusing. Well, it's confusing to us, but it's confusing province-wide because
Yes.
a lot of mayors are shaking their heads and council members saying, what is this? And where are we going? Just because they don't feel the support is there from the province. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
So what would be the downsides if we don't do this?
The downside, we won't have the control. Or
CAO?
Yeah, just to add on to John. So you have two options. Either A, you sign up with this and we are responsible for Blue Box. Or the other option is if we don't sign this, then our residents have to take all the recycling to Brockville. Which is not what the type of service we want to provide for our residents. So
No.
this allows our residents to still continue with the same service we're providing and certainly look at some other options down the road. But I don't disagree with the mayor. This is so confusing as far as what they're putting in place. And there's a session actually up in Toronto, the end of the month, which John, myself, Maddie and Ashley are going to go and attend because there certainly has got to be some more answers out there that are available because they're really putting it as far as timelines, but not providing the right information as well too. So.
Well, especially since this is just an interim thing, I
Yeah.
support it.
Yeah.
All in favor? It's carried. Moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Pate. Report 2024-106, be resolved that council approve the bylaw infractions and enforcement policy. Any questions on this? Mayor?
No question. Too much reading.
Chief Bowman, is there anything you would like to expand on this?
No, I don't think so. I think the three worship story, I believe the report speaks for itself. It's very similar to the complaints policy, but a complaint is more about one of the services we give or our personnel or something like that, where bylaw enforcement is more about, we have one neighbor complaining about another neighbor and what those neighbors are doing. So it's really a call for service. So we wanted to split them and, as you said, similar to the complaints policy, we spend a lot of time, our bylaw enforcement officer, myself, going to frivolous complaints that, were really nothing. And complaints where we would get anonymous, I want to lodge a complaint, but I don't want my name used, which we never do, unless we have to go to court. And we made that perfectly clear. So that's all this bylaw policy is. And then also, one other thing is our municipality of Augusta has always done bylaw based on a complaint basis. We do not do proactive searching for bylaw enforcement. That continues.
Yeah.
The only time it may change is, for example, we got some complaints this spring about parking in front of driveways at Maynard Public School. So I asked our bylaw enforcement, we have multiple complaints. So I asked him to go sit there, at the end of the school day. That's the only time. We don't do proactive, and that just enshrines that. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
And not like in your report that you really try to do education as
Correct.
much as enforcement.
Yeah.
Which is great. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Pate, seconded by Councillor Henry. At resolution 14,
You just, usually in these, just the notice of motions.
all,
Order everything.
okay? All just notice of motions. Just ask if there is any.
Yep.
Any notice of motion? Seeing none. Move on then to bylaws. Moved by Councillor Pate, seconded by Councillor Henry. Resolution number 14, be it resolved that bylaw number 3733-2024, being a bylaw to appoint a building official for the Township of Augusta, be read the first time, the second time, and the third time, and to be enacted as read. Any questions on this? Mayor? Yes,
Chair?
Mayor?
I think the CAO was waiting for me to ask a question, but we talked earlier and I asked him what RSM means and he failed to get back to me. Oh, deliberately. But anyway, I'm just saying that I'm sure it's related somehow, but I guess I'll just say it to everybody else. When we put acronyms in there in a bylaw or anything like that, we kind of have to spell it out in brackets afterwards. Because I can think of 3 acronyms right now for RSM, and they mean nothing to building. Okay, so anyway, just to let you know, and then he gave me clarification on the bylaw, which I don't agree. But anyway, okay, go ahead. Thank you.
For the chair to the mayor, I'm still searching to see what RSM stands for. I haven't been able to go on the website yet. So once I know, I'll certainly let you know.
Well, the other thing I want to know on this bylaw was all the names that are in there. Who are they and what are their qualifications? I mean, I don't think I could support a building official that I don't know who they are, you know.
So these individuals for you, Chair, so those individuals actually work for RSM. So they're able to do actually inspections above and beyond what our chief building official can do. So for large industrial things that she's not qualified to do, this allows us to contract with them to go and do that on our behalf.
Just time sensitive.
No, not time sensitive, no. But certainly we want to have that in place as things continue to evolve and develop. We want to make sure that we have things ready to go.
Yeah, so maybe if we could defer this till we get the mayor's answer.
Sure, absolutely.
Your worship, to the chair, I don't believe RSM means anything. I think it's just that they chose that housing construction. But this is just there is a bylaw in place already that lists all those names except for one. And they wanted to add this name, because she's part of it, or whoever it was, I've forgotten now, but part of the company, and they want to make sure that they were on it as well. So there is, without deferring it or not passing it or whatever, it still keeps the other bylaw still in play, that all those names besides that one. So this is just housekeeping.
Housekeeping, to add that one name?
Yes.
Okay, and that's just a company name then?
Yeah,
That's-
I can't see anything.
That's what I was thinking.
I can't see anything that calls it an acronym. Maybe it's the first name of all the owners or something.
Could be the principal owners or something like that. On their website, it does not say what RSM stands for at all, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is everybody comfortable with that then? Okay, call the motion then. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Pate. Resolution 15, be resolved that bylaw number 3734-2024 being a bylaw to establish a hiring policy, a hiring of employees policy for the Corporation Township of Augusta be read a first time, a second time, a third time, and be enacted as read. Any questions on this? All for the vote? Favors carried. Okay, and we go to announcements. Thanks, Dave.
Chair and your worship, good news announcement today. I just got this actually just before the meeting. A little bit of history on this. On March seventh, 2023, our mayor came to me with a resident concern on Jones Court in Maitland, that they and two of their other residents, for whatever reason, were missed when Cogeco did their rollout. And at the time, Cogeco was asking for, I think it was about $15,000 to connect them. In the year and change that's followed, I have successfully worked with Cogeco, and as of Friday, all three residents are now connected or eligible to connect to Cogeco. And the one resident has already subscribed and should be on board with the service by the end of the week.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for that. Counselor Henry?
Through the chair, we have a rabies clinic here at the Public Works Building on Algonquin Road on Wednesday evening, September 11th from 4 to 6.
For rabies clinic?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you're still looking for help or?
I think between the CAO, John Stagg and Daniel, May 10th, so we may have enough now.
Okay, thank you very much. Also want to let everybody know that Special Fair grand opening is Thursday. So, I forget the year it is now, but it's been going on for a long time.
694.
Something like that, yeah, something like that. Anyway, and also, on our, we have a dog park survey that's available if people would like to fill that out. Any other announcements? Okay. Questions for the press? You got any press? No press? Questions for the public?
Regarding this lease, so now that council is seeing the lease and you've passed it, now it goes back to the recreation committee and we'll get a copy and be able to view it, not have to sign it right away.
You know,
No, so what will happen is now that council approves it in principle, it will go to the committees for your review, for your signature, then it comes back to council to be passed by bylaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
okay. Yes, Darlene?
My concerns are also with this lease. I brought it up when it came up before with the corporation. And these are all volunteers. All of the responsibility is on the volunteers. So I think they do need the meetings, they do need to be informed. Because when you read it, the few notes that I've made here, you know, they're responsible as volunteers for just about everything that goes on, all the equipment and everything that goes along with it, as you know yourself from having been involved. So I think they need to be definitely informed, and volunteers come and go. So I'm wondering like how, as a municipality, we expect volunteers coming and going to realize the total responsibility they take on when they do these jobs. Excuse me, it's not a job, it's just a very dedicated bunch of people that keep this municipality the best of ones around. And with volunteers, I know this year with Labor Day, a number of people told me the volunteers were down. There've been a lot of changes in North Augusta. And a few never give up. And they pulled it off and they did a wonderful job. And, you know, it's just, I don't think as a volunteer, as many of these responsibilities are taken on, they're not, when they first come on, they're not made aware of the responsibility that falls back on to our volunteers. And I think that communication back and forth, I would like to know from the point of view of council, how they're going to continue along with the volunteers as they change to keep them up to date and bring them up to date. And if I can, I'd like to bring up one more thing as well. I'd like to congratulate for the variance report. It's something that I brought up earlier in council. to something that when I sat at the table, we got, which was very helpful. And I'm sure it will help council as they go along, help to keep them better informed, that's for sure. It's been needed and it's nice to see that it's completed. One thing we did get when we got the variance report, when we got as in this one, 4%, 6% over budget, we got a conclusion from staff exactly what their plans were on that report to reconcile the budget. Because, there were a lot of grants and a lot, money coming in. And when you see an over budget as a counselor, I feel you need to know why. And that was part of the report, so.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Brian Branchard, representing the Maynard, rec committee. I joined the committee a little bit halfway through the year. With respect to the lease agreement, the way I understood it is we had a chance to review that lease agreement? Okay, so,
It was brought back to the Maynard Committee, about 8 months ago.
About 8 months ago?
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be in the minutes, Brian.
Yeah, I guess that's why I didn't see it or wasn't aware.
No, it's because you're new.
And I would assume CAO on that lease agreement, if there's something that you don't agree with, you could still bring that up with the CAO before you sign it. Right?
Yeah, and certainly, we're not here to, we're here to work with the volunteer group, and we've been saying that right from day one, is that I think the agreement itself shows that collaboration rather than it all being one-sided, where we work in parallel together. But certainly, we want to have a consistent approach when it comes to our lease agreement. And the one thing we need to understand is without a lease agreement right now, we cannot, or they cannot apply for any grants, because you need to have an effective lease agreement with the township if you don't own property. So we certainly want to work with the groups, and that's why Kathleen is usually at every recreation committee meeting, is we want that dialogue and that communication to continue on.
Yeah, and I'll ask one concern that Darlene brought up, and that is the recreation members. Part of the insurance policy that they're carrying, does that cover the directors?
Usually they would have DNO, which is directors and officers liability
Yeah.
insurance.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we have that for our federation.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All the incorporated
Yes.
rec committees have that coverage.
Okay.
I just want to add, though, that with this lease, there is a new volunteer handbook. So we do not let our volunteers come in without getting a copy of the volunteer handbook. Now, that was initiated last year. We wanted to roll it out with the lease. So we will be doing that. We will be having the volunteer, every member should have a copy of the volunteer handbook. If they don't, then it's up to the chair to reach out to myself to get a copy of that. But we are working with them. The volunteers are strictly now looking after events, fundraising for events. They do not look after infrastructure. They do not make monthly payments of any type for hydro or any other utility. We look after all of that for all our recreation committees. So what they do now is strictly events and fundraising.
Any other questions?
I have to do it first. So on that, Kathleen, just for clarity, and we can all maybe discuss it Wednesday, are we responsible for maintenance on the facilities as well?
We'll discuss that, yeah, we'll discuss that.
Because there's a blurry line there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Darlene, you have another question?
When going through it, the word may be responsible for insurance. That's, to me, was a gray area as well, because you shall have insurance at the recreation committees themselves, so I think to say they may is not the right word.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so that, now I guess we, going to move into a closed session. Moved by Councillor Page, seconded by Councillor Henry. At this council moved into a closed session. And we'll take a break now, or does it?
You know that.
Okay. As per the municipal act, C 25 SO 2001, section 239(2), to discuss a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiation carried on or to be carried out on behalf of the municipality or a local board, and land disposition strategy. Call for the vote on that. All in favor? So then we'll now take a 5-minute break. Or, yeah, 10-minute break. 10-minute break.
Bye.
Do I have to log out and log back in?